community decided to build the school, what we call a Engelsk, a combined school. But there was an overcrowdedness in Engelsk. As a result, now they built, or the community decided to build a school which is called what? Dabulizizwe Primary School, which now I am a principal in it. We have got a problem, what you call, there is a lack of communication between what you call home and the school, which is being caused by the fact that most of the children in here are orphans. That is the most problem that we are having. Even the most problem that we are having is about bullying. Which means that there's a high bullying because of lack of parental care. As a result, which means that if you consider the fact that I've said most of the children are orphans, as a result, which means that there is nobody who are teaching children at home. Some other children have got only one parent, so which means that it makes it difficult for the parent to grow as usual or to have a respect.
I think there's a lot of crime around the area because people are coming from different cultures. So the mix of cultures come with some kind of problems. And there's a lot of school dropouts after grade 7. And the car thefts, almost everything you'll think of about the crime is around this area. Because they were fiction fights, because these people were removed from a place near the suburbs. When we started, it was a one-way relationship because we were trying to get into people that were not prepared to accept that we were coming to them. And slowly it is coming up because you'll find that parents do come to school when they experience problem. They discuss them with the teachers, and then it becomes like a two-way because like when we've got a problem with a child, like smoking drugs and alcohol and everything, so parents will come to school. For me, that's a great achievement because before we used to send letters for parents and they will never respond. But slowly and gradually, we're not expecting wonders over one year or one short of time, but it is slowly coming to the time where parents are going to be more responsible as well for their own community as well as their own school. And I think my school is making some kind of a difference because we have noticed that people are starting to come together and people are starting to recognize their own cultures, irrespective of the fact that they stay with other cultures. They started doing some small celebrations, and we can see people from the community are coming out and saying that we are there to help. And so for me, that's a great achievement because it wasn't like that before. And we are hoping that it is still going to get more of those. We find people that are taking care of others, but it is because they have been taught that it is very much important to make a difference in your own community. Even if you make a difference to one family, that means a lot because you have affected positively South Africa.
Izikole ziyashintsha isikole enziwe beklini zilungise njalo zibe zinhle singathi kugugele njalo kube kuhle emphakathini izikole zethu uhulumeni ngathi mhlawumbe asixhase maqono bekhoke izikole
la Dabulizizwe ubuhlobo phakathi kwami nothisha ngibona bubukhulu kakhulu ngoba makhona inkinga uthisha ingane uyathi ayilanda umzali. Masimlandile umzali bese ufika uyabonana nothisha wengane bese niyazana bese nikwazi ukuxhumana ke nothisha wengane. Iloko nje ngibona ukuthi ukubalulekile kakhulu ukuba khona kwami njengomzali eDabulizizwe nokuthi bayakwazi ukuthi ngaso sonke isikhathi baxhumane nathi sabazali beingane othisha.
Engiphiza umphatho sekolweni izingane lezi isikole no nginje la emphakathini kungathi izingane zethu nathi bazali singaziqhuba ezikoleni sizifundise ikusasa lethu ikusasa lazi ikusasa lothisha ikusasa lezikole zethu kube izikole kuzona zothisha izikole ezethu lathi ukuthi siyabothisha siyabethu ngakho konke ukuthi singathi umphakathi wonke bahlala ube into eyodwa ubumbane ngezingane zethu ezikole zethu.
I think life orientation is the best, because for me, it is the root of what the learners need to know. Because you can't go anywhere without knowing the basic things that you need to know. And you find most of those things from the life orientation. And it has opened a lot of doors for us, for our learners as well, because we are free to talk about anything. And we believe that if we can teach life orientation the way it needs to be taught, we are equipping these children for future, not for today only or for high school, but even when they mix with other people from world of work. Because that is what we have to ensure, that what learners have learned at home, we put it together and make sure that it is still right, because there are things that you can learn at home that are not right. So we try by all means looking at the learning outcomes to make sure that we develop them in such a way that they take themselves away. They start making decisions, and they don't just make any kind of decision, but fruitful decisions that's not going to be for today but for their future. The other thing that I think is very much important is I have to look at children and develop them holistically, which is really, I think it's the core of this learning area, that the children need to be developed holistically, not just as physically, but emotionally. And you'll find that a lot of kids here are living not with their own parents, and they are emotionally abused. Almost every day they experience some kind of abuse. So they come to your class, you can't just start telling them about English before you talk about the things that affect them. That they didn't have a breakfast, you need to talk about that. You need to do something. I know, as I said before, that I'm not a social worker. I'm very much aware of that. But talking to the learners helps that the learners, they come out and they talk about things. Once we talk about things, then then we are out. Then we can start with our lesson, and they can concentrate, and they can go out there feeling good about themselves, because that is very important.
At home, you're not feeling well. You left home not feeling well, and then you can go and tell her your problem, and then she'll tell you what to do.
Okay. Good morning, class.
Morning, teacher.
How are you?
We are fine, thank you, teacher. And how are you, teacher?
Sit down.
Thank you, teacher.
Can I see by the show of hands all those who had breakfast today, who had something to eat this morning? How? Only 4. We have been talking a lot for the past few weeks about different cultures. We were talking about the Hindi culture, the Muslim culture, the Zulu cultures, as well as the European cultures. Shri Vishnu Alaya. Who? Shri Vishnu Alaya. Yes, what else?
They have many gods.
Yes, they have many gods. Yes. I know that there is something common about all the cultures. What is common about all the cultures? You will find that in all the cultures, there is always something that is common within all the cultures. Today, I want us to talk about celebration. Let us talk about celebrating a birthday party. What are the things you need to consider when celebrating a birthday party? Yes. I find that most of the learners are very much unhappy that in life they are unable to celebrate the things they should be celebrating at certain stages. So I decided to wrap up with preparing, because that's the only thing we could do. At least if in future, if they happen to have party, might be a birthday party or what. We chose a birthday party because it's more popular for them, and it's almost in their age. They can do a birthday party at any age. You don't have to wait to be 21 or have a good one. So I decided that we do the birthday and following the learning outcomes. What I'm going to do now, I am going to ask one member of the group to come here and pick an activity for their group. Okay, time is up. Let us start putting our ideas into the piece of paper that I gave you. Okay, let us have one person writing, and all the other members of the group will be telling that person, or will be sharing ideas and telling the same person that is going to write. That you are going to write doesn't mean you must write what comes from you. It must come from the whole group. And I need to see that all people are involved. And when you look at the outcome, then you can come up with the activities according to what the learning outcome says. And if you look at LO, it touches on a lot of aspects, and personal development is part of it. And we have been trying hard that our learners we don't use too much books, but we try to make sure that we use things that touches them on their daily lives.
He tells us to be patient with ourselves and trust and believe in ourselves.
I learned about making big decisions about my life, like what do you want in the future.
And don't let anyone decide your future. There are many things like how to do a house. Before you do a house, you must plan.
And I think that is for future, because for everything you do, whether you own a business, whether you take care of the community, you need to plan. Maybe at this kind of time, I would be at somebody's house doing this up to that time. So they learned a lot about planning and preparing towards achieving that kind of a goal. And it shows that the prior knowledge, they do have an idea of what must happen, but it needs to be put together in a constructive way, so that when they do their own planning, maybe when they are adults, anniversaries, whatever parties they're still going to enjoy, then they will know. First step is planning. Second step is the actual thing, the things that you need to put in your planning. When I plan my activities, I plan my activities according to my learning outcomes. You need to know what are the assessment standards saying. Now we are going to do our group assessment. It is said in our class ground rules that you need to be fair to yourself. Whenever assessing yourself, you need to be fair to yourself. At the end of every assessment, I do my own assessment as a teacher now, looking at what as tasks they've been given. And then let's say they give themselves yes. Then we sit down with the group and then we talk. Did everybody listen to each other? What did so and so say? How did they contribute? And then they come up and say, no, we think we ticked on the wrong space. After I started with NIP, I started believing that using these learning outcomes and specific outcomes helps me to direct my teaching straight to what I want to teach, which really deals with the problems that we're encountering. I think my entire teaching changed. The way I look at things, how I view my learners, I started separating the actions from the people, that there is a reason for everything. And I started to stop, reflect, and redo things that I've normally been doing for about 7 to 8 years. And we know exactly which kind of learning they have achieved and which kind of learning they haven't achieved. And we work towards achieving what they haven't achieved yet.
community decided to build the school, what we call Engelsk, a combined school. But there was an overcrowdedness in Engelsk. As a result, now they built, or the community decided to build the school, which is called what? Dabulizizwe Primary School, which now I am a principal in it. We have got a problem, what you call, there is a lack of communication between what you call home and the school, which is being caused by the fact that most of the children in here are orphans. That is the most problem that we are having. Even the most problem that we are having is about bullying. Which means that there's a high bullying because of lack of parental care. As a result, which means that if you consider the fact that I've said most of the children are orphans, as a result, which means that there is nobody who are teaching children at home. Some other children have got only one parent, so which means that it makes it difficult for the parent to grow as usual or to have a respect.
I think there is a lot of crime around the